Have you ever wondered what makes traditional cooking so special? Why recipes passed down generations taste so unique? It's because these culinary classics carry the essence of our ancestors' wisdom and ingenuity. They are often healthier too, utilizing nature's bounty in its purest form. We don't merely consume these meals, we partake in a rich cultural heritage. Today we are diving into the world of traditional cooking, exploring a classic recipe that is not only tasty, but also packed with health benefits. The recipe we are exploring today is a classic, vegetable stew. This hearty dish has been warming homes for centuries, and it's a favorite among many transcending generations. It's a symphony of flavors, a delightful blend of garden-fresh vegetables, herbs and spices simmered to perfection. The ingredients are simple and nutritious, making this dish suitable for all ages, including our elderly loved ones. We'll be using a variety of vegetables like carrots, potatoes and peas, along with onions and garlic for that extra punch of flavor. To spice things up, we'll add a sprinkle of thyme, a pinch of rosemary, and a dash of black pepper. And of course, we need a good vegetable broth to bring it all together. This vegetable stew is not only a feast for the taste buds, but also a treasure trove of nutrients. It's comforting, it's wholesome, and it's delicious. So, without further ado, let's get cooking. To start off, gather all your ingredients. Yes, that's right. The first step to any great dish is to have everything you need right at your fingertips. Now, don't be daunted by the list of ingredients. Many of these you'll already have in your pantry or can easily find at your local grocery store. The first few steps of our recipe today revolve around preparation. It's often said that cooking is a labor of love, and that sentiment truly shines in the prep work. Whether it's peeling, chopping, or marinating, each task contributes to the final flavor of the dish. Let's begin with the vegetables. Wash them thoroughly under running water to remove any dirt or grit. Next, using a sharp knife, carefully chop the vegetables into bite-sized pieces. Remember, the size and shape of your cuts can affect how the ingredients cook and ultimately taste. For example, smaller pieces will cook faster and larger pieces will retain more of their natural flavor. Next, let's prepare the meat. If necessary, trim off any excess fat or skin, then cut the meat into even pieces, ensuring they're all about the same size. This helps to ensure that the meat cooks evenly. Once that's done, it's time to season. A simple sprinkle of salt and pepper can do wonders, but feel free to use any other herbs and spices you fancy. Moving on to the dry ingredients, measure them out carefully. Baking in particular is a science and requires precision. One extra teaspoon of baking powder could result in a cake that's too dry or a bread that's too dense. So when it comes to dry ingredients, always measure twice. As for the wet ingredients, you'll want to mix them separately before adding them to the dry ingredients. This helps to ensure a smooth and even mixture, which is crucial in achieving the right texture in your dish. Don't forget to preheat your oven or stove before you begin. This ensures your cooking surface is at the right temperature when you're ready to start. Once you have all your ingredients prepared, it's time to start cooking. And remember, cooking is not just a chore, it's an art. Each step, each ingredient, each stir of the spoon contributes to a masterpiece. So, let's get cooking. With all the ingredients ready, it's time to bring this classic recipe to life. The first step is to heat your pot over a medium flame. Once it's warm, add a splash of olive oil and let it heat up. Now let's add our chopped onions, carrots and celery. Stir them around for a bit until they start to soften and the onions become translucent. Next, add the minced garlic and the tomato paste. Stir it all together and let the mixture cook for about 1 minute. This will allow the flavors to meld and intensify. Now it's time to add the diced tomatoes, vegetable stock and the bouquet garni. If you're unfamiliar with the term, a bouquet garni is simply a bunch of herbs tied together with string. It adds a wonderful depth of flavor to the stew. Let the stew come to a boil, then reduce the heat and let it simmer. While the stew is simmering, let's prepare the star of the show, the vegetables. We're using a medley of seasonal vegetables: zucchini, bell peppers, eggplant and green beans. Chop them up into bite-sized pieces and add them to the pot. Now, this is where patience comes into play. Allow the stew to simmer for about 40 minutes, stirring occasionally. This will allow the vegetables to cook and the flavors to really come together. Just before the stew is done, add the canned beans. They just need to be heated through, which should take about 5 minutes. Finally, season the stew with salt and pepper to taste. And there you have it, a hearty, healthy and delicious vegetable stew. It's a classic recipe that's been enjoyed for generations, and now it's your turn to enjoy it. And just like that, our vegetable stew is ready to be served. Before we serve our stew, there's one last step. Every dish becomes a masterpiece with the right finishing touches. And for our vegetable stew, it's no different. Imagine the stew, hot and bubbling, full of hearty vegetables. And now we add the final flourishes that transform it into a culinary delight. A sprinkle of aromatic herbs can elevate the flavor profile, creating a symphony of tastes that dance on your taste buds. Freshly chopped parsley or perhaps a hint of rosemary, judiciously applied, can work wonders. Now consider the presentation. The way we serve our food can make a world of difference. The right dishware, the perfect ladle of stew, and the careful positioning of garnishes all play a part in creating an appealing visual feast. And just like that, with a few final touches, our humble vegetable stew morphs into a gastronomic spectacle, a feast for both the eyes and the palate. Our vegetable stew is now ready to be enjoyed. So there you have it, a classic vegetable stew made the traditional way. It's a dish that's been passed down through generations, a staple in many households. The beauty of this recipe is in its simplicity and flexibility. The ingredients are easy to find and can be adjusted to suit your personal taste or dietary needs. We started with a medley of fresh, wholesome vegetables, carrots, potatoes, peas, and onions, each bringing its own unique flavor and nutritional benefits to the dish. Then, we moved on to the herbs and spices. A pinch of thyme and rosemary, a dash of salt and pepper, the secret to any delicious stew. The cooking process itself was a journey. We sautéed the onions, added the vegetables, and let them simmer in a rich, flavorful broth. Every step, carefully executed, added depth and complexity to the dish, and the result, a mouth-watering stew that's as nourishing as it is delicious, perfect for a cozy family dinner or a hearty lunch on a cold day. But the vegetable stew is more than just a delicious dish. It's a testament to the power of simple, wholesome ingredients. It's a reminder of the importance of cooking from scratch, of knowing what goes into our food. It's a celebration of culinary traditions, of recipes passed down through generations. So why not give it a try? It's easier than you might think, and the rewards, well, they're immeasurable. A sense of accomplishment, a moment of connection with the past, a delicious meal to share with loved ones. And when you do, remember this: cooking is about more than just following a recipe. It's about patience, about taking the time to let the flavors meld and the ingredients shine. It's about creativity, about experimenting with flavors and textures. But most importantly, it's about love. The love that goes into preparing a meal, the love that's shared around the dinner table. So go ahead, take the plunge, try your hand at this classic vegetable stew. And when you do, remember to savor every moment, every bite, because that's what cooking is all about. Remember, good food is not just about taste, it's also about the love and tradition that goes into preparing it. Until next time, happy cooking.